folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Urshan, and this is Volume 7 of my horror movie collection. Now let's get right into it, shall we? So this is The Fog. Finally got the Scream Factory edition on Blu-ray. Love the cover art there. Yeah, this is a great release if you guys get a chance to pick it up. The film looks much better, and yeah, it's a great edition. Next up, we have one of the most underrated slasher movies of all time. You just don't hear anything about this movie, and it's just, to me, it's actually a horror classic. It's like, more people need to be talking about this movie. It's so scary, it's so eerie and weird, with a brilliant performance by Chuck Connors. How many slasher films do you see a slasher killer with telekinetic powers? Next up, we have the remake of Child's Play. Definitely a controversial one. The hardcore Chucky fans were not happy with this one, but it did get pretty good reviews, but it kind of came and went, I think, probably because, you know, the real hardcore Chucky fans didn't like it. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was something different. And if you're going to remake a film, you should do something different with it. I like the idea of Chucky being artificial intelligence and hooking up with Alexa and stuff, being very dangerous. And then, of course, you have Megan, yes, from this year. Fantastic film, very pleasantly surprised by this film. It's similar to the Child's Play remake in a lot of ways, where the killer doll is artificial intelligence, and but I think it's a better made film overall. And this does have the unrated version, which is definitely better. It's got more blood. Yeah, very well made film, very cool, and the doll is very creepy. And of course you got that famous dance that just went viral all over the internet, which is just so much fun. I think it's so funny. And you got The Blob, one of the best horror sci-fi remakes of all time. Amazing special effects. I love the effects of The Blob itself. Awesome stuff with brutal kills, and this is just a fun movie. It's got that great 80s vibe, but at the same time, amazing special effects, and they're practical effects. I'd take that over CGI any day. And then there's a film I just saw recently for the first time, and that's Frozen. Obviously not the Disney version of Frozen. This is the horror movie Frozen. Man, I was just blown away by how scary it is. Because this is something that could happen in real life, and a lot of times that does make for a really scary horror film. When you're dealing with something that can actually happen. These people stuck in a ski lift out in the mountains, and nobody's around, there's no one there to save them, and bad stuff happens. And then we got Tombs of the Blind Dead, classic from the 70s. One of the most awesome zombie films, one of the creepiest zombie films you'll ever see, and that being the Templar Knights are so scary, they're so weird, and they got the long, like, they're basically walking skeletons, but just the way they move so slow, and the way that when you see them come out of the grave, it's so creepy. And you got the Criterion Collection version of Night of the Living Dead on Blu-ray. Definitely a must-have for your collection. I love the cover art there, and I have never seen the movie look this good. It looks so great. Then we have Daughters of Darkness, a really creepy film. It's beautiful to look at. It's very colorful. It's very artistic. And it's about the Countess Elizabeth Bathory, although it's not a very accurate portrayal of it, because this film, the Countess Elizabeth Bathory, is actually a vampire. But it's very well done, beautiful acting, just a fantastic film. Then we got Horror Express, starring the great Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. It's not a Hammer film, but it might as well be, because it's got all kinds of Hammer vibes. Also got Telly Savalas in there. But this film is actually based on the same story that The Thing from Another World and John Carpenter's The Thing are based off of, and you'll notice that right away, I think. I mean, they find this man, this monster, like frozen in ice, and they bring him aboard the train, and of course the monster escapes, and all hell breaks loose. Here's the documentary In Search of Darkness. Yeah, it's about 4 hours long. Great look back at all the classic 80s horror films, and you got all kinds of interviews with legendary stars of the films. Just a lot of fun and worth every minute. We got Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and this is the Steelbook Blu-ray from Arrow. Definitely highly recommend this. This is an excellent version of the film. Love the artwork there too. Definitely a must-have. And then we got the sequel, Elvira's Haunted Hills. This is a great release too. I love the box cover art there. I love these style boxes. They're really cool. They're very sturdy. Really cool. And there's the original poster art. Elvira's Haunted Hills is just a really fun film, and it's just classic Cassandra Peterson at her witty best all the way. I've been just starting to get my Godzilla collection rolling, and starting here with the original King of the Monsters, and this is the original Godzilla film, but it's the Americanized version. Throwing in Raymond Burr in there, and kind of making it more Americanized. Still love it though. This is the version I always grew up watching on TV, so it is close to my heart. And Godzilla Final Wars, this is a fun movie, seeing Godzilla take on every monster he's ever fought, and just kicking ass. He even fights the 1996 version of Godzilla. And we got Godzilla King of the Monsters, the recent Legendary Pictures version of Godzilla. And he's fighting all the classic monsters, and they got King Ghidorah, and yeah, you got Mothra in there. A really fun movie. And of course, you got the classic smackdown of Godzilla versus Kong. I thought this movie was such a blast, amazing special effects, and you see them really go at it. It's just amazing. It's mind-blowing, the special effects, and you just really see them go at it and just tear shit up. And now we're getting into the Hammer Films collection, and this one I just got recently, Vampire Circus, which is probably the last great vampire film in the Hammer canon, I think. Just great stuff. You got Captain Kronos. Definitely need to upgrade this from the DVD to the Blu-ray, but I can't believe they don't have Carolyn Monroe anywhere on this DVD. That's just criminal. You got Hands of the Ripper. Yes, based on Jack the Ripper and his daughter, who gets affected by the Hands of the Ripper and goes on a killing spree herself. A lot of fun. It's got some of the most brutal kills in any Hammer film, probably the goriest Hammer film of all time. And the blood from the mummy's tomb. Which is my favorite in the Mummy series of Hammer, aside from the original with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. This one's just so much fun, and you get the beautiful, the gorgeous, the ridiculously hot Valerie Leon, and she's just fantastic, and this movie is just all about her, and she's amazing in this. And you got The Brides of Dracula. Absolutely love this film. It's my favorite sequel in the entire Hammer Dracula franchise, and it doesn't even have Dracula, but it does have Peter Cushing as Van Helsing. And look at that cover. Is that not beautiful or what? This is the Scream Factory edition. Amazing. That cover is just worth the price alone. You got Taste the Blood of Dracula, one of my favorites in the Hammer Dracula franchise, and this is the Blu-ray edition. And this is kind of a bare bones disc from Warner Brothers. A lot of the Warner Brothers editions are just, just have the movie and that's it. You may get a theatrical trailer, that's about it. But I will say the transfer is great on this one. And another one of the Warner Brothers collections is Satanic Rites of Dracula. Just love this film, and yeah, this is a great transfer of the film. This is as good a transfer of this film you're ever going to see, I think. Because there's so many crappy editions on multi-pack movie sets that are just horrible. And then another Warner Brothers edition, it's the Horror of Dracula, the ultimate Hammer Dracula film and the ultimate Hammer film. Yeah, so finally picked this up on Blu-ray because I don't think they're ever going to come out with a special edition version of this at some point. I don't know, I mean. But until then, I got to deal with the bare bones disc. And same with the Dracula AD 1972. Again, it's a bare bones disc, but it's a great transfer of the film, and this is from Warner Brothers. But Scream Factory does it right, and this is the Scream Factory edition of The Plague of the Zombies. Excellent release of an excellent movie. Absolutely love this. John Carson is just fantastic in this movie. I love it. And yeah, it's one of the early zombie films before the George Romero era of zombies, and I love it. It's just so much fun. And we got The Horror of Frankenstein, the only Hammer Frankenstein movie that doesn't star Peter Cushing. This is a much younger version of Victor Frankenstein, and he's played by Ralph Bates, who's veteran of Hammer horror as well, and he does a great job here. And this film was a lot of fun, and it's also got the most brutal version of the monster I've ever seen. I mean, he just fillets people. He even uses an axe to kill people in this movie. He's like a slasher villain. Then we got The Curse of Frankenstein. Absolutely amazing. And yes, this is actually from Warner Brothers, and this is loaded with special features. So yeah, Warner Brothers, you need to start making more like this with all kinds of great special features on it. And this film absolutely deserves it. And now we're getting into the Universal Monsters classics, and these are 4K Steelbook editions. How cool is that? Amazing covers on these. These are just beautiful. We got the Dracula one. This is, once again, another Steelbook 4K release. Beautiful. Look at that. And these movies look great. The Wolfman, amazing. Look at that. Just awesome. Fantastic. Highly recommend them. Then I got The Invisible Man. Absolute classic from Universal. Then I got this 4-pack DVD set with Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Great to have all 4 of those in one package. Then we got this great Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi collection. It's got films they starred in together, and that's The Black Cat, Invisible Ray, The Raven, and Black Friday. My favorite's definitely The Black Cat. I mean, they absolutely chew the scenery, the both of them, and we have such charismatic characters with deep, menacing voices, and they film together, just chewing it up. It's amazing. Next we have Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, absolute classic. You got all the classic Universal monsters in there with Abbott and Costello doing their comedy shtick. It's just amazing. It's hilarious. It's so much fun, and it's got all the classic Universal monsters. It's just amazing. Then we got the Mummy Legacy Collection. Yeah, it's got all the Universal Mummy movies, including the original Boris Karloff classic down to the Lon Chaney ones. And then finally you got The Creature from the Black Lagoon, another classic Universal Monsters film. Alright guys, that's it for Volume 7 of my horror movie collection. Thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Urshan, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Good evening, folks, and we got some brand new merchandise for you over at www.thehorrorcona.com, and that's CONA.com. Representing the Horror Corner. Great new design. We got the Morbid Hour live stream there. You got the Horror Hangout live stream there. And you got my nemesis, the Dark Fate. So grab your t-shirt over at www.thehorrorcona.com. And we also got this beautiful new mug. Look at that. Very, very cool. Thought that came out really nice. So grab your merchandise today over at www.thehorrorcona.com.